Hey guys, Kevin Finn here with Peak Performance Table Tennis, and I'm excited because I've got something new for you guys today. As many of you know, I often encourage you to pick up a copy of my book because this is where I put all my best insights into training and nutrition and how to prepare optimally for table tennis. But I realize not everyone is a reader, not everyone has time to read a book, and some people just don't have the means to pick up a copy of my book. So I've created something new. I'm launching a podcast, but it's a little different than the typical format. I'll still be here to introduce each episode, but the actual discussion will take place between two AI co-hosts who I've trained exclusively on my book. Now, I get it. Not everyone is super on board with all this AI stuff floating around recently, but here's why I think this format is not only useful, but better for what I'm trying to do here. First, these AI droids, sorry, Star Wars fan, gotta call them droids, they've been trained exclusively on my book and nothing else. So all of the information that they're pulling comes directly from me. Furthermore, I personally vet all of the information that goes out, so I'm making sure that it's accurate and a true representation of the message I'm trying to convey. But what makes this format really special is how it distills down the information into bite-sized chunks. So rather than having to listen to a full audiobook, which would be really dense, these episodes are designed to pull out key insights, concepts, tactics, tips, and tricks, things that you can apply right away to see some immediate improvements in your game. I'm aiming to keep each episode around 10 to 20 minutes, so you can listen to them while you go on a walk or maybe on a short commute. And I also think you'll appreciate the fresh perspective that these AI co-hosts bring to my material. They're really good at breaking down the complex information and presenting it in a clear and engaging way. And they're also really good at identifying connections between key concepts in the book, things that you might have missed even if you've already read it. Now, I do want to mention I plan on using a more traditional podcast format in future seasons, things like interviews with actual players and Q&A style episodes. But currently my schedule is super packed, so these AI droids are stepping in to help out in the meantime. Just think of them like my C-3PO and R2-D2 of the table tennis world. But enough preamble. In today's episode, we'll be diving into the introduction of my book, talking about the key components of peak performance, as well as the first chapter, which is on rapid learning, how you can change your practice sessions to actually learn better and make your strokes more sticky so they are there for you when you need them most. Enjoy.
All right, so you're ready to crush it in table tennis, right? And you've got Kevin Finn's Peak Performance Table Tennis to guide you. But let's be real. This book, it's a beast. Tons of info, kind of hard to know where to even start.
Yeah, it's dense.
That's where we come in. We're going deep, pulling out those golden nuggets, those game changers, so you can unlock your full potential way faster.
And what I really like about Finn's approach, it's not just about, perfecting your forehand loop or your backhand smash. He's talking about training like a complete athlete, building that physical strength, mental toughness, strategy, tactics, the whole thing.
And that's where Finn's book gets really interesting because he argues that instead of trying to outsmart these rule changes with, expensive equipment, it's time to upgrade the player.
Okay, I'm listening. Tell me more.
Essentially, he's saying we've been so focused on the external factors, the rules, the equipment, that we've neglected the most powerful tool for improvement ourselves.
Okay.
So while everyone's out there tweaking their setup, he's saying step back and ask, how can I as a player get better?
So are we talking like hitting the gym, maybe getting in a better headspace before a match? Should we all be meditating between rounds?
Yeah, precisely. He highlights a ton of research that shows this kind of surprising lack of emphasis on physical and mental conditioning in the table tennis world. And it's still very much about technique and tactics, but as the game evolves, so too must the players, and that's where this idea of peak performance comes in.
Okay, let's unpack that a little bit. Finn uses a really interesting analogy in the book.
Yeah.
He compares a top-level table tennis player to a Swiss watch.
Yeah.
And I love this because from the outside, it looks elegant, it looks effortless, it looks very simple. But we know on the inside, there's this intricate network of gears that all have to be working together in perfect harmony.
Yeah, I love that analogy because it really captures just how complex it is to make something look effortless at that high of a level.
And just like with a watch, if you want to optimize performance, you've got to understand each component. And luckily, he provides that blueprint in the book. breaking peak performance down into 7 key components. And we're actually looking at the diagram right now. And he dives deep into each one. So we've got the technical skills, we've got the tactical side. Those are a given.
Of course.
But then he goes beyond that and he starts exploring, that mental game. How do you stay cool under pressure?
Yeah.
Make smart decisions in the heat of a rally.
And it's not just about that mental toughness. It's also social and emotional skills. How well do you communicate with your coach? How do you work as a team if you're playing doubles and just having that balanced life outside of table tennis to prevent burnout?
So we're talking about essentially building a well-rounded athlete, someone who is not just physically strong, but mentally resilient, socially adept, and emotionally balanced. A pretty tall order. Where do we even begin?
Right, and that's the good news, is that Finn doesn't just lay out this theory. He actually provides steps that you can take today to develop each of these components.
Okay.
And that's what we're going to dive into next. So we've got these 7 components of peak performance.
It's like we've got all the ingredients for this amazing dish.
Right.
But now we need the recipe. How do we take all these different elements and actually put them into practice?
Exactly. One chapter that I thought was really interesting was actually titled Tapping into the Matrix. Improve your table tennis with rapid learning.
Hold on, the Matrix? Are you saying that we can download Kung Fu level table tennis skills straight into our brains?
I wish it were that easy.
Because I am here for it.
Yeah, but he does dive into a lot of the research behind how we learn motor skills, especially in the context of table tennis. And while there's no magic shortcut, he does reveal some surprisingly effective techniques to get more out of your practice time.
Okay, so maybe no instant download, but like a software upgrade for our brain.
Exactly.
I'll take it. What kind of hacks are we talking about?
So one that really resonated with me, and I think a lot of players can relate to this, is this concept of latent learning. Have you ever had those practice sessions where you're just riddled with errors? You forgot how to play?
Oh, all the time. Are you kidding me? Some days it's like I'm inventing new ways to miss the table.
Exactly. We've all been there. But here's the thing. Even when you're making those mistakes, even when it feels like you're going backwards, your brain is still learning.
Okay.
He compares it to planting seeds. You don't see the sprout right away, but underneath the surface, that growth is happening.
So those errors are actually laying the groundwork for future improvement.
They are setting you up for success later on.
So the next time I have a practice session where I'm swimming in unforced errors, I'm just going to tell myself, don't worry, these are latent learning opportunities in disguise.
Right. We want those immediate results, but it's the deep learning that matters.
And here's where it gets interesting. Ready for this? Making more mistakes can be a good thing.
Hold on. What, you're saying more flubs, more hits into the net? That's going to make me better.
Hear me out. Finn calls it desirable difficulty. It's about pushing your comfort zone.
Okay, so, how's that work? Do I just start hitting randomly, hoping for the best?
Not exactly. Think of it like, lifting weights. Got to push past that easy zone for growth.
Right. A little discomfort means you're actually making progress. Same with the brain, huh?
Exactly. Challenging yourself, even with more errors at first, makes those neural pathways stronger.
Interesting. So I'm not aiming for a total mess, but not shying away from tough drills either.
Exactly. Now, Finn introduces this concept called distributed practice.
Distributed, like spreading it out, not just pounding the same drill for an hour.
You got it. Variety is key here. Instead of endless forehand loops, mix it up.
So backhand, forehand, push, loop, all in one session, but shorter bursts. Keep the brain guessing.
You're getting it. This interleaving, as Finn calls it, is like cross-training for your brain.
And that's better for long-term skill, not just that feeling of, oh, I did 1,000,000 loops today.
Way better. It forces your brain to constantly recall and rebuild those motor patterns.
So it's the quality of practice, not just mindlessly racking up the hours. I can get behind that.
Exactly. And that kind of leads into this other concept, schema theory. We learn best when we add variety.
So not just robotically drilling the same forehand to the same spot over and over.
Right. Vary the spin, the speed, the placement. Makes you more adaptable, less predictable.
So you're not just training your muscles, you're training your brain to react to different situations in a match.
That's it. Exactly.
And speaking of learning, Finn actually had some interesting stuff for coaches, especially about giving feedback.
Yeah, he's all about the less is more approach. Especially for beginners. He even quotes this coach, Nick Winkelman, who says, coach the signal, not the noise.
So what does that mean, practically on the table?
It means focus on the most important things. Too much information can be overwhelming, right? So find those key cues that make the biggest difference.
Find that sweet spot. Give just enough guidance, but let them figure some stuff out, too.
Sometimes less is more. Let the brain do its thing.
Now, this is a challenge I think a lot of us can relate to. You're killing it in practice.
Then the match comes, and it all falls apart.
Yeah. Finn calls it acclimatization training, basically getting used to the pressure.
Okay, so how do we do that? Short of playing a million tournaments, I mean.
Simple trick. Start recording your practice matches.
Recording? You mean like video? Suddenly the stakes are higher.
Exactly. That little bit of pressure can make a big difference.
Oh, yeah. I know I play differently when I know I'm being recorded.
Another idea. Introduce stakes, even small ones. Winner picks the next drill.
Ooh, I like that. Make it competitive.
Or even winner picks lunch. Suddenly, that backhand has to be on point.
Now that's some high-stakes table tennis. Adding some real stakes to those practice matches, brilliant. But I'm curious, even with the best training, sometimes focus is just gone. Anything for those days.
Oh, absolutely. Finn's got a suggestion you might like. Ready for this? Sleep.
Wait, seriously? You're telling me I need a nap?
Turns out sleep is huge for consolidating what we've learned, even that muscle memory.
Okay, but does this mean what I think it means? Those afternoon naps? Totally justified now.
You bet. Finn even talks about a strategic napping approach, specifically for athletes.
All right, you have my full attention. What's the magic formula for a table tennis power nap?
So picture this. Morning practice. You're working on that new serve, right?
Got it. Trying to make it sing.
Then go about your day. Work, errands, whatever. Then a 60-90-minute nap.
Okay, I can handle that.
And that nap can be as restorative as a full night's sleep for those motor skills.
No way. Seriously.
Yeah.
So I wake up and bam, my serve is a rocket.
You got it. Well, maybe not a rocket right away, but you get the idea.
You know what else really struck me in this chapter was his take on note-taking. And I'll be honest, I'm not usually one for diaries or journals.
Yeah.
But the way he explains why it's so beneficial for learning just really clicked with me.
Yeah, that surprised me too.
And it's not just about like writing down what you did in practice. It's about really cementing those lessons, those aha moments. He talks about how the actual physical act of writing, not even typing, but like putting pen to paper,
Interesting.
actually helps us retain information better. It engages different parts of our brain
Yeah.
and makes those neural connections stronger. Doesn't have to be anything crazy, just a small notebook in your table tennis bag where you jot down 3 things after each practice session, what went well, what you need to work on, any advice your coach gave you.
Like your own little personal playbook.
Yeah.
A record of your journey as a table tennis player. I love that.
It's a great way to track your progress,
Yeah.
stay motivated. Even years later, you can look back and be like, wow, I've come a long way.
I love it. There's one more tool. Have you heard of binaural beats?
Oh, yeah. Those special audio tracks. Supposed to help you focus, relax, all that good stuff.
Yep. Sound frequencies that work with your brainwaves. Some people swear by them.
I try them. I mean, placebo or not, I felt different, more in the zone.
Finn suggests giving them a shot. Before practice, maybe even a big match.
I'm sold. Adding that to my routine. This whole deep dive has been amazing.
Right. So many ways to approach training. Who knew?
It's not just about hitting the ball harder. It's smarter.
Absolutely. So, as we wrap up, what's the one thing you hope listeners take away?
Don't be afraid to experiment. Table tennis is all about creativity on and off the court.
Couldn't agree more.
Thanks for joining me on this deep dive. Until next time.
Hello there, it's me again. I hope you enjoyed this first episode. I would love to have some feedback, so if you're listening on YouTube, please like, subscribe, and drop me a comment. And if you're on another platform, subscribe now for future episodes packed with actionable insights. In each episode, we break down the key concepts from my book, making it easier for you to improve your game step by step. And as a special bonus today, you can download the first 47 pages of my book completely free at peakperformancetabletennis.com. These pages were covered in our first episode, so you'll be all caught up. Don't miss out. Subscribe today. And as always, may the spin be with you.